Right, let's have a look at how we could use askKira to prepare a staff meeting. So we always start waking Kira up by saying, "Hi, Kira." And Kira will always not only respond in a personable way, but also ask us a well-being question. And I'm having a good day. So let's make sure Kira knows that. Right, so what's been the highlight of teaching today? Actually giving an assembly this morning. Right, so what we want to do today is we want to plan a staff meeting. Tonight I've got to give a staff meeting. Now I know this is something that subject leaders are asked to do on a certainly an annual basis, sometimes a termly basis, and some of those subject leaders are super experienced and really used to doing it and can do that in with lots of time. But many of our subject leaders are not as experienced and find it stressful, find it something that creates anxiety, particularly social anxiety in terms of speaking in front of other adults. And we can use Kira to help us with that social anxiety, and we can use that in preparing the staff meeting, making things a lot quicker and doing some of the work for us. So the focus for tonight's staff meeting. So for tonight's staff meeting, I'm going to be the geography subject leader. And we don't have to spell properly. So we tell Kira that I'm the geography subject leader. And Kira responds by saying it's adventurous territory. And I can say that we've got to focus tonight on the importance of map work. Of map work. We might tell Kira that this was a focus from a previous inspection. It's the first time that I've delivered staff as the geography subject leader. And I want to make it interesting and interactive. So what we can ask Kira to do is to plan the PowerPoint slides to start with. So Kira will go away, think about it, and very quickly or instantaneously come up with a decent starting point for a subject leader to use for their presentation on geography. So it knows that the most effective way of speaking to a group of adults or training, delivering CPD is to use a format like this with an objective slide, an inspection feedback slide, to put things into context, and then to explain why map work matters. And then it obviously responds to the fact that I want to make it interesting and interactive. Now, one of the problems and one of the challenges that subject leaders face is often that they are asked to lead subjects that they are not as expert in as they might be, especially in small rural schools where teachers have to take on the role of subject leader across multiple subjects. So often you can go into a presentation to staff and you might not actually know 100% all the details about what you're talking about. So you can use Kira to help with that. So you might get Kira to write you a quick script, actually a script or an explanatory on slide 4. And if you give Kira that request, it says, here's a script you could use for slide 4, why map work matters. And it'll write an explanation of why map work is important in terms of recognizing pattern, understanding scales, and interpreting spatial data. Now, if you're a highly experienced geography subject leader, that might be something that you automatically know and are passionately interested in. But oftentimes, subject leaders are not in that position or not as experienced. And Kira can help with that. And if we click on this little button at the top there, that'll copy that slide and that script into the notepad, and we can drop that into Word, or we can drop that into the notepad on our phone, so that we can use that during the presentation, and we could use it to help guide our presentation. And then we might use it for another slide. So in terms of the interactive activity slide, outline a quick activity where staff locate places or use map symbols, rather than spending time on Google or Google Images looking for that. We could say, please could you outline the interactive activity, and it'll do things that Google would never do. Please could you turn it into a fun game for the staff. And Kira will go away and think about it and say, right, the Geo Race Challenge for staff. So slide outline, let's embark on the Geo Race Challenge with a colourful map. And then it'll generate the instructions for the game. And if you've been in a dry CPD session for an hour after school when you're tired and no amount of tea and biscuits can lift your mood, often actually an interactive session like a game like this will put things in context for the staff, but also keep it interesting and make sure that people come away from the session both enthused, but also more knowledgeable than they went in. And then we've got the discussion slide at the bottom there, and we might be thinking, okay, we've not got unlimited time during our staff meeting, so we could use Kira to plan the discussion. Please could you plan the discussion? Actually, let's tell Kira she did a great job. Please can you plan the discussion session? How can I keep it manageable? And if you're a junior member of staff or a less experienced member of staff in an experienced staff room, often having some rules, some expectations around that can really help. And it'll give prompt questions, suggest some rotating speakers in there, and suggest a note taker, which would be an ideal way to capture the people's thoughts during that discussion session so that they don't get lost. And then finally, it says closing slide, end with an inspiring quote or image. So let's tell Kira that they've done a good job. And let's finally get that inspiring quote for the end. So the world is a book, and it's provided a quote from St. Augustine that you could not only link to learning and link to CPD, but you could also link to geography and travel as well. And in that way, Kira will help somebody less experienced or with little time to plan an interesting and informative session as the subject leader of geography, and that would work across any subject or any key stage and any staff room, I think.